Hello, Realtors. Welcome to a new season of Is It Legal? Fair Housing Edition. I'm Byron King, General Counsel.
I'm Austin Smallwood.
Tiara Pitts.
And let's get started with your quiz. Question number 1. The National Association of Realtors has progressively increased the diversity of membership. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. Over the past 100 years, NAR continues to progressively increase the diversity of membership in these categories: sex, race, age, religion, familial status, sexual orientation, national origin, disability, color, and gender identity. NAR offers the At Home with Diversity designation.
Discrimination on disabilities is one of the highest fair housing risks for realtors doing business in South Carolina. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. From service animals and emotional support animals to assuming that a disabled person in a wheelchair only wants to view one-story homes, there are reports that good-intentioned realtors may unintentionally violate fair housing laws and ethics. Also, make sure that your website is WCAG 2.0 compliant for sight-impaired customers, as this can also be a violation of fair housing.
Question number 3. The Realtor Code of Ethics on Fair Housing and Advertising incorporate heightened requirements over South Carolina federal law. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. NAR added sexual orientation and gender identity as protected classes, which puts them at a higher standard than both South Carolina and federal fair housing law. Using the fair housing symbol in advertising is recommended but not required.
Question number 4. If the rental application process inquires about past criminal convictions, there should be follow-up questions to balance the evaluation of the tenant. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. Other follow-up questions can include questions about a good rental history, a good record since conviction, character references, work history, time since conviction, nature of conviction with violent convictions balanced against safety concerns of other tenants on the property.
Realtors are prohibited from using hate or harassing speech, epithets, or slurs, and are also required to comply with additional business communication rules. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. Realtors are also prohibited from harassing members and association staff. Other restrictions on realtor speech include being truthful and honest, not making false, misleading, or exaggerated statements, not communicating confidential information, obeying copyright laws, complying with trademark laws, and also not using misleading URLs, keywords, or metadata. Realtors should also not be making false or misleading statements about other real estate professionals, their businesses, or business practices. Realtors should not be making false statements during ethics or arbitration hearings and should not be making antitrust, boycott, or price-fixing statements to their competitors. You cannot be making hateful and harassing statements on social media at night and then be able to fairly provide housing during the day.
Question number 6. There are due process safeguards to ensure that realtors are not unfairly deprived of their valued American ability to properly discuss political and religious issues in public under the new NAR prohibition on hate speech, harassing speech, epithets, and slurs. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. There are many due process safeguards in our professional standards process. The Code of Ethics is based on the Golden Rule: treat others the way you wish to be treated. Epithets and slurs are disparaging and abusive words and phrases that are recognized as not being used in good taste by most people. When discussing political or religious issues, focus on the issues. Do not use epithets and slurs aimed at people with differing political or religious views. Hate and harassing speech is more than merely expressing different political or religious views. Hate and harassing speech is described by NAR as weaponized speech. Realtor ethics are reinforced by realtors who share American values, including the ability to discuss political and religious issues. Here are the ways that your due process will be protected should a complaint on 10-5 be filed against you. First, the realtors on the grievance committee will review the written ethics complaint and determine whether the ethics complaint should be dismissed for not meeting the ethical requirements with legal guidance from board counsel. Second, if the grievance committee forwards the complaint to a hearing, then the realtor serving on the ethics hearing panel will hold a fair hearing where the respondent can present evidence, present defense witnesses, make statements, and cross-examine the complainant and any witnesses. Again, the hearing panel acts with legal guidance from board counsel. The respondent can also be represented by legal counsel at that hearing. Third, if the realtors on the ethics hearing panel find a violation and issue a discipline decision, including education and fines, the respondent can appeal this decision to the realtor serving on the board of directors for review, and following that can make an appeal to the South Carolina court system.
Question number 7. You are in a protected class. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. True. We are all in a protected class. We all have race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, disability, sexual orientation, and gender identity.
Multiple offer buyer love letters are okay. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. False. Sellers should not accept buyer love letters. Buyers should not send buyer love letters. Realtors should not allow love letters to exchange hands due to possible fair housing violation risk. SCR forms requires parties to obey with fair housing laws. Sellers are at risk of violating fair housing laws if they base their decision to sell on anything other than objective standards. Many love letters will reveal what protected class a member is a part of. A decision to sell a house based on that revelation is a violation of fair housing. In a multiple offer situation, non-prevailing buyers may sue and/or file a complaint against the seller and their listing broker who base their decision on anything other than objective standards, as this could infringe on fair housing laws.
Question number 9. Realtors are allowed to persuade buyers to look in areas with a population that is predominantly the same race as the buyers so they feel more comfortable. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. False. Realtors are prevented from steering buyers based on their race or other characteristics. Remember the golden rule: treat others the way you wish to be treated. Any brokerage policy should be facially neutral and uniformly enforced.
Question number 10. If a realtor is representing a seller and the seller is adamant about only selling their home to a specific race, the realtor should participate in this listing while knowing their client desires to discriminate using race. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. False. By refusing to sell their home to certain buyers based on the buyer's race, the seller is in violation of fair housing laws, and the realtor cannot legally nor ethically participate in this transaction.
Realtors are allowed to relax certain requirements for buyers who they identify with more. True or false? You have 10 seconds to answer. False. Realtors should avoid relaxing requirements for some groups but not all to avoid the risk of a fair housing violation. Realtors should keep universal standards of business so that one group of people are not receiving a more favorable treatment than another group. This can be in reference to buying or renting a home.
Well, that's the end of our time. This has been another edition of Is It Legal? I'm Austin Smallwood.
Tiara Pitts.
And I'm Byron King.
Till next time, stay safe, Realtors.